Buildings generally are square. They've got 90-degree corners and they've got 4 sides, and that makes them pretty straightforward and cheap to put up anywhere in the world. Except this week, I am not just anywhere. I'm in Oxford, home of genius, and I'm off to meet a man who's going to test the laws of geometry by building a house out of 10-sided rooms, decagons. Oxford is an architecturally inspiring place to live, but building plots are rare. When a quarter-acre site came up just north of the city centre, a local young property developer and surveyor, Henry Chopping, jumped at the chance to build something special, for once, just for himself.
You really don't get sites like this in the middle of Oxford, and it's sort of like a little pearl in the shell of Oxford. It's fantastic. We went very creative on this. It's totally different to what we build in the company. It's really allowed me to be a lot more creative.
Henry may build for a living, but he's never built anything remotely like this. And for that matter, nor has anyone else. This is a tough one to pull off, even with the support of his girlfriend, Fiona.
Hi, Kevin. Very well, thanks. How are you?
Good to see you, yeah.
Hello.
Fiona's all right?
Yes.
Good to see you.
Yes, good to
Good to see this plot. You've got a very big hole. Why have you dug so deep?
We've dug down a little over 3.5 metres from the existing ground level to put the basement in. And the reason for that is, despite the tall buildings that you see around us, this site is behind a listed stone wall.
Have you got to put it back up?
We have, yes.
So you can only go up to the height of that, effectively?
Yes.
Is this going to be a hidden house?
No, it's not going to be completely hidden. But there'll be, I don't know how many metres, but there will be some of the roofing visible.
So it's a relatively low-lying building, and it's going to be unusually shaped, isn't it?
Just a series of decagons.
Of course. Just tripped off your tongue. So what's a decagon?
Oh, I'm not very good at maths, don't ask. How many sides again?
10.
Thank you.
10.
Yeah, 10 sides, yeah.
It wasn't a fundamental drive to build decagons, but it became, as you can imagine, the right shape for the site.
The listed wall next to the road will be rebuilt using local limestone and red brick. It'll completely hide this complex house. In the hole, Henry's going to build a voluminous basement with a high-tech lounge, a cinema and a utility room. Above it, at ground floor level, behind the wall, will sit an unusual arrangement of interlocking rooms, based mainly on the 10-sided decagon. You'll enter the house over a walkway. On one side, there'll be 4 bedrooms, including the master suite at the end. Although these rooms aren't decagons, they're not completely square either. Off the other side of the hall will be the kitchen and dining room, and at the end, Henry's study decagon, which will be accessed through the largest and most elaborate decagon of all. This living room, part inspired by Moroccan tents, is arranged so that 3 of its 10 sides will be glazed to capture the light of the moving sun. Structurally, this room depends on 10 elegant oversailing beams made from laminated wood, glulam. The roof will be mainly copper, inspired by Oxford's university buildings. But there'll also be a small area of living sedum roof, turf to you and me. Henry has plenty of experience as a surveyor, but here he seems to be testing his own limits. And how much do you pay for it?
When I actually bought the site, I paid $495. Don't tell anyone.
So are you going to project manage this?
Yes, I am. One of the biggest challenges is going to be to build it to the right standard and quality and what we actually want to achieve here within the budget.
Which is?
Currently stands at somewhere between 750 and 800,000.
It's expensive.
It is a lot of money. It's a lot of money.
So, the site and the build together come to nearly £1.3 million, which he's financing by selling a property, using his savings and getting a loan. And when do you finish?
We're going to finish on April the 27th.
At 3 o'clock in the
2007 at 3:30, actually.
Have you got a quantity surveyor? Have they helped you with the costings?
So I've done that myself.
So you're taking not only a personal risk here, Henry, in terms of moving out of your comfort zone, but there's also some degree of professional risk here as well, isn't it? Because if you get this wrong, I mean,
yeah,
it doesn't reflect too brilliantly.
No, it doesn't. It's degrees of wrong, though, I think, Kevin. It's going to be... If I get it 100% wrong, that's bad. If I get it 10% wrong, you're starting to be acceptable.
Henry's openness is matched by his generosity. He'll be investing in a lot of craftsmanship here and an idiosyncratic design that was the brainchild of his architect, David Williams. You describe decagons in almost a kind of magical, mythical way, as though they're beings from outer space.
It is a hideous word. I mean, we've still got used to it now. But we're quite embarrassed to say decagon when we started.
But as you say, what it is, it's a buildable circle.
It is a buildable circle, yes, absolutely.
So will this building feel like an exercise in geometry, or will it be more fluid than that?
I think it'll feel more fluid. Spaces lead on from spaces and get bigger and smaller. And it's full of surprises in that way, and the angles are probably full of surprises. But underneath it all, there is a very strict geometry behind it, and that was just to make it build. And whether that's detectable or not when it's built, I don't know. He who dares wins, and I think you will have a great building at the end of it.
The following month, work starts on the basement. Its reinforced masonry walls are covered with a double-layered waterproof membrane to keep the building dry. One side of the membrane is rubber, and the other side has a thin layer of highly absorbent clay on it, bentonite. If there are any punctures, the water is immediately soaked up by the clay, stopping it entering the building and self-sealing any holes. This simple combination of technologies will give Henry a hidden extra story to the building and his foundations for the ground floor partly ready-made. Work may seem to be racing forwards on site, but actually Henry's been working on this project for years, researching materials and design ideas using Oxford as an inspiration. The university buildings, constructed over 7 centuries, are an essay in timelessness and timeless materials: copper, lead, glass, and of course stone. Henry's ambition is to build something this beautiful and this lasting in just 9 months. Henry is clearly immensely competent. He spent his whole adult life putting up buildings, and he's got an amazing reservoir of inspiration in this place. But if you look around at the Gothic and the Palladian and the Neo-Greek buildings here, they are all reworkings of existing, established building languages. Meanwhile, Henry is trying to build his own new language in the 21st century out of this smorgasbord of materials that's far more extensive than anything here. You know, he may well end up just building a house that's simply a collage of beautiful ideas and materials, but which in itself, as a whole, is just plain ugly. In North Oxford, the house that Henry Chopping is building is taking form in a huge hole in the ground. Henry may be the surveyor, the project and the site manager on this extravagant scheme, but he's also pinning down a full-time job running a property development company. Despite his clear professional competence, how the hell he finds time to do all of this and get the building right beats me. Today is a big day for Henry because it's the day when the steel comes, at least the first batch of it. There's £14,000 worth of steel in this building. It's the moment when the on-site concrete work meets the off-site steelwork that's made in a factory somewhere else. And there's always that niggling doubt that they're not quite going to meet.
Right now is a critical moment. One of the angles that they're fitting onto a beam, this is... There's a lot of preparation has gone into this moment.
You're excited, aren't you?
A lot of preparation, yeah.
Henry, you're excited.
I am. It's been all drawings. It's been all drawings up to now, and you can't say, you know, and we haven't got right angles. We've got 72 degrees, 36 degrees, 144. We've got all these angles.
Just to make it easy for yourself.
Yeah. You cannot believe how exciting this is to see.
This steel will take all the weight of the ground floor, so it has to sit exactly on the load-bearing pad stones. But there's a problem.
That was meant to be for B9, 3760.
No, it should be that sort of distance apart. Let's have a look at the drawing here.
The design is clearly so complicated, the pad stones have ended up in the wrong place.
Just that one.
That one through the wall, which is that one.
OK, what about this corner over here? Because that steel is half on the pad stone, half off it.
Yeah.
What's
But
that?
that one should be on the pad stone.
So are you happy that your drawings are good? Although they're accurate.
They are, yeah, I'm happy.
Are you happy that the steel work is relatively accurate?
More importantly, yes.
Are you happy that the concrete work is in the right place? No.
It is.
No.
The pad stones are not quite in the right place.
Right.
We just need to move it, yeah. Which will take one of those big saws going through.
Cut and shunt.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Shim this bit, acro up this.
Oh, acro, shim, cut and shunt.
Exactly.
As building picks up speed, Henry finds he has more and more decisions to make. One of which is the delicate choice of which stone to use to clad the building.
These are the sample panels of the stone. I've got 4 from three different counties.
Really?
Yeah.
What do you got then? What's this one here?
That one's from Bath.
Right, so that's just oolitic limestone.
They're all oolitic limestones.
Are they? Right,
yeah.
OK. So is this a separate one here?
It is, yeah. That's Stretton Cream.
And what's that one?
And that's Stretton Honey. And this one is Cotswold Stone.
OK.
Yeah. But I do quite like this one. And I like the fact that it's actually dug out of the ground probably 15 miles away from here. So we could get a horse and cart to bring it along here.
I hesitate to ask how much this is going to cost you.
About 18,000 material.
Which sounds like a significant quantity of money. Plus,
yes, it is. Almost
more importantly, the skilled labour required to set it.
Exactly. It's so important to get this right. It's the thing that everyone's going to see. It's this part of the building that's going to hit them.
Henry's limestone is coming from a local quarry in the Cotswolds. Once cut into manageable chunks, it goes to the stonemasons. The decagon design means that corners aren't set at 90 degrees, but at 36 or 72 or 144. Henry's determined that his £18,000 worth of investment will yield absolute accuracy.
So at the moment, you're not actually being that precise with the way that you're knocking it out, because you're quite a few mil off there.
Yeah, getting rid of the waste there to the line, so that works out a mil over size.
Yeah.
I find it impossible to believe that Henry can carry on micromanaging every detail on this project, what with all his other commitments. On top of this, sadly, he recently split with his girlfriend Fiona. It's an issue. I mean, you know, you've got a business to run. You know, your brother's ringing up saying, "Get back to the office, get back to the office." You know.
We've got other things to deal with.
Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah. It is. Now I'm not in a relationship. Now I'm by myself. It's even more the responsibility onto me to get everything right. You know, all the myriad of decisions that come out of a site.
You need a midwife to deliver your baby.
Is it a midwife or just a wife?
It's a
to carry my baby for 9 months.
Three months in, and although the basement is covered, the schedule has slipped. Henry just hasn't had the time to push it on. By the start of the new year, very little has changed. The project is now 2 months behind schedule, and Henry's day job has taken over.
We've been quite busy on Oxford Homes. Lots of people have been taking occupations of new premises, and it's been a bit of a struggle just to get things finished off, especially with at Christmas, and everyone says, "Oh, I want to be in before Christmas, I want to be in." So we've really been working hard on that side. Plus the fact, just before Christmas, we picked up a new site. We just had the result of a planning appeal. We're just submitting another planning application, and we bought another site back in the end of October, and it's all needs to be managed.
All of which explains, but doesn't excuse things. Henry needs a project manager.
As we stand here at the moment, I need to kick myself up the backside because I haven't ordered the glue lamp, I haven't ordered the windows, I haven't ordered the copper roof. A really good indication of how quickly you're going is how much you're spending. The faster you spend, if you've done a budget, the more production you're getting. And at the moment, I'm spending about 40, 50 grand a month, and that's not enough. I need to be spending 100 grand a month.
So, Henry gets motoring. Blockwork suddenly appears, as does more steel and some timber work too. But most importantly, Henry takes on a wizard of a site manager, Ron White, whose job it is to make sense of this sprawling project. There's lots of progress here, isn't there?
Yeah, I think it's slowly but surely at the moment.
It looks like all these walls are kind of flared, they're all kind of popping off at different directions.
Yeah, I suppose,
sort of are, aren't they?
I suppose standing down here, it looks a bit amorphous.
I like this block. This looks like, with that roof on it, it looks a bit like a sort of school toilet block, this.
Well, it's very kind of you, very kind of you to say that. I wasn't thinking about it quite that way. No, this is the bedroom block, and you're standing in the hallway at the moment.
What's this basement
so
going to be?
My bedrooms look like toilet blocks.
Only at the moment. I mean, have you figured out a proper use for this?
The enormous space is going to be my ambient light wall, which is which is going to also become my virtual reality life down there.
It's going to be Henry's club here, isn't it?
Yeah, it could be.
So now, obviously this is the back of the toilet block. I can see that, in a sense, that there's a lot of very exciting experimental ideas here.
Yeah.
But I wonder how much time you lay awake at night wondering if any of this is going to be beautiful. It's exciting,
I'm
certainly.
hoping it will be.
Yes, hoping for sure. And it could, I suppose, be weird, ugly. It could be weird, beautiful, couldn't it?
Yeah, it could. It may not be weird. If I don't think it's beautiful, then
you've got a real problem.
I have got a real problem. If you like a baby, I'll still love it. Other people might think it's absolutely hideous, but it's mine.
One thing's for sure, not many people would want to own this highly indulgent and personal design. Henry comes from 3 generations of chartered surveyors, so what do his family make of his baby?
He has definitely kept in touch with me on it, which I find quite flattering, to tell the truth. But he's naturally concerned about the costings. It's an unusual project, and you have to be pretty controlled with regard to the expenditure.
How do you both feel about him doing this project? Because he's made a success out of his business. He's young, and he's building.
He's building a huge house.
Correct.
Well, the sooner he fills it, the better.
Oh, right.
Right.
Not only are delays pushing up Henry's general overheads, but also material costs have shot up as well. The price of the raw copper for the enormous roof has almost doubled. Blimey.
And we've got the sunshine up here for us.
You know, by the time you finished, it's sort of getting on for a quarter of an acre or something.
It's 300 square metres.
That's a lot.
It is, yeah.
And that's all going to be covered in copper.
And it could easily make me bankrupt.
So how much does it cost then to cover the whole roof?
Well, the roof is probably going to be, just for the covering alone, is going to be the best part of £50,000.
Jeez.
Yeah, it's quite a lot of 2Ps, isn't it?
That's a lot. That's just for the material.
Yeah.
Because you're spending more money, that must mean your budgets are kind of being stretched and
they are
beyond their comfort zones.
They are being stretched, and comfort zones were left in the wings a long time ago. The budgets that I got for all of the elements of this building are really there's no room for manoeuvre.
Despite this, Henry's so excited, obsessed by the making of his building, he can't resist going to see his curved glulam beams being made in Austria. These will support the roof in the largest decagon, the living room. Glulam beams are what they say they are, glued and laminated or layered to form a composite strength like plywood. They can be made 30, 40 metres long.
The first impression when I come here is that they're making all these huge beams, and these look tiny.
The planks of softwood are coated with glue and hardener before being clamped in a giant press. Even when they're curved, at no point is heat used, just immense pressure. Henry's beams are just off the press, ready to be planed.
These guys do a lot of the finishing by hand, and I didn't expect that either. And what I'm seeing now is them taking out the knots, filling the imperfections and that sort of thing. So they're all sort of going over it by hand, which is nice to see.
Finally, a computer-controlled planing mill finesses the curve to the dimensions of Henry's CAD drawings. All 10 bespoke beams have taken just 1 day to make. Back on site, the masons are starting the job of rebuilding the 25-metre listed wall. It was so unstable it had to be taken down. Of course, it has